I am Thomas, and I hope all is well. Today, we're paying our respects to an individual that you might not have heard of, but it's a name that I think we should pay our respects to. Varian Mackey Fry, born in 1907, passed away in 1967, and I am at the Greenwood Cemetery, Brooklyn, New York, and very eager to tell you about Varian's story. Varian was born in March of 1907. Great month to be born. I was born in March. And he was born in New York City, son of a stockbroker and a teacher. And after studying at Harvard University, he devoted himself to journalism, specializing in foreign events. You see the map here. France occupied by Axis powers. Well, what did he do? He was an American journalist who obtained documents and visas for 4,000 people to help them escape Nazi persecutions in France. A saint, a man that really, I'm not sure if this generation knows this name. So, in 1940, while working for the Foreign Policy Association in New York, he was sent to Marseille by the Emergency Rescue Committee, which was a humanitarian organization that helped the people persecuted in France under Nazi occupation. After the armistice with Germany in 1940, France was, if you remember, obliged to hand over to Germans all the people wanted by the Gestapo, many of whom were Jewish intellectuals. Now, the purpose of Fry's mission, which initially was supposed to last 3 weeks, was precisely to help 200 personalities from the cultural and scientific world to leave the country. To do so, he had a list of names and a budget of $3,000. Now, arriving in France, he settled in a room at the hotel that he was designated, and he began writing letters to people on the list. However, the word of his arrival soon spread, and hundreds came to ask for his help. The line of refugees in that hotel, in front of that hotel that he was staying at in France, became so long that Fry decided to rent an office and create a group of collaborators. People that could help him to listen to the stories of the refugees. So, the American Rescue Center was created, and it welcomed the requests of about 70 people a day. Now, there you see the picture of Varian. Years later, Fry described those moments as follows. Quote, "We had no way of knowing who was really in danger and who wasn't. We had to guess, and the only sure way to do that was to give everyone the full benefit of the doubt. Otherwise, we could refuse to help someone who was really in danger and find out later that he had been dragged away to Dachau or one of these other places just because we rejected him." After that, the 200 American visas were exhausted. Fry decided to continue this activity, despite the hostility of the French police and the American consulate. He began to build a real relief network, trying to obtain visas for other countries, providing the persecuted false documents produced by a former Viennese cartoonists or embarking refugees on French ships in North Africa, still under French control, making them look like demobilized soldiers. Now, he wrote several times to U.S. Secretary of State to encourage the United States to take charge of the refugee emergency, also proposing the creation of new passports, which, after the Armenian genocide, had been used to rescue stateless persons. But his requests remain unanswered. So soon, the French police became aware of the activities of Fry and his collaborators. They raided his office in 1940, and Fry was arrested. Now, he was detained on a ship, but then he was released, and guess what? He had resumed his activity. He remained in France even after the expiration of his passport, but was again arrested by the French police in August of 1941. At this point, he had only 1 hour to pack his bags and was then escorted to the Spanish border and expelled. Now, an expulsion, he was told, was ordered by the French Ministry of the Interior in agreement with the American Embassy. As he left the country, his thoughts kind of turned to the many he had saved and those he could no longer be able to help. He said it was grey and rainy. As I got on the train, I looked out the windows and countless images crowded my mind. I thought of the faces and the thousands refugees I sent out of France and the faces of 1,000 others I had to leave behind. In a year, Fry managed to help about 4,000 people. 1,000 of them left France. Some famous people. Many famous people. Now, back in France, Fry continued to help smuggle people out of occupied France and worked to publicize what was happening in Europe. And, for his work, he was kept under surveillance by the FBI, which prevented him from accessing any government employment. He continued with difficulty his activity as a publicist, and he finally devoted himself to teaching in secondary schools in Connecticut, I believe it was. He died in 1967 at the age of just 59, where he had taught Latin. Now, shortly before his death, he was awarded the title of Knight of the Legion of Honor, which is the highest French honor. In 1994, and there you see, before we continue, the grave. It's a family plot of Mr. Varian Fry. So in 1994, he was recognized also as righteous among the nations, which is a very prestigious award as well. Geez. All these people that he had saved. Wow. What courage is that? That is amazing work. One of the many heroes that just, just due to the fact of how many years the war has been already, just maybe have been forgotten as time has gone by. And, that's why I like doing these videos, visiting famous graves and celebrities, but not even so much necessarily of recent memory. Those stories are important to tell as well. But I think even more important stories are to tell of those that have gone by, passed on many and many of years ago, to keep their memory alive. So as I leave you, Greenwood Cemetery, Brooklyn, the grave of Varian Fry.